We're
recording.
gonna go live over here in the membership as well. So I'm gonna take my last spoon of breakfast, Lau. Is that okay?
I guess.
I guess.
All right. So the the idea, once again, with all these questions is to be at service from a better place or to give you different services. Take the moment to answer the survey and also the survey in the Facebook group about fillings, implants, lip fillers, all these things. Extremely important. I know some people answer, but most of you didn't answer. Perhaps you do have some of these things. Once again, is for us to understand where you're going or where we need to take this service so it can be more helpful to all of you.
As you search for what you're going to say next, Tammy and whoever else is watching live, let's hear some wins. Maybe it was finishing the year with a certain win or maybe starting out the year. So it's already the 10th of January. So there's been some good things, there's been some wins, there's been some challenges, but let's hear it. Let's hear it. Clean these up a little bit.
All right. Also, some of the answers that we received from the email we sent with the survey, something caught my attention from all the answers we had is that we are offering missions that require a lot of investment and money and buying things, and that is not possible because of an economical factor. So a reminder is that we offer everything here as a buffet. Like, imagine that we never speak about mercury fillings. Just think about it for a moment. You have no idea, your mouth is full of mercury fillings. We never talk about it. And we start detoxing. Maybe you're doing coffee enemas because you can invest in getting an enema kit or a coffee bag. And once you start detoxing, you notice that you invest a lot of time and dedication to the enemas. Maybe you feel better, but we never tell you that mercury fillings are in your body and are a constant source of toxins. So it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So it's our responsibility to take the information and the things that we know and take you into deeper understanding of what's going on. We didn't decide that the mercury fillings are gonna be bad for you, for example, but we know that they're damaging your health. So the invitation is always to see these missions as opportunities and a way of planning ahead, because it doesn't have to be done today. You can plan from here to 3 months, organize your budget, figure it out, make some calls. You know, the thing is to be proactive, because if you don't do this for your health, nobody is. Nobody's gonna tell you. Probably none of your friends are gonna tell you that you have to remove your mercury fillings. Okay, so you know, so or your root canal. So what do? It's gonna be an investment, yes, but this is your own decision. We're not making this an obligation. We're just offering the information. If this serves you, great. If you cannot do it, it's okay. Maybe you can plan ahead for the next year or so. Maybe you can save money for the next couple of months, have a better understanding or what you can do so you can make this happen. Maybe you don't want to do it, fine, but at least you know that mercury is causing heavy metal toxicity, for example.
I'm just going to interject real quickly. So and this isn't coming from a place of judgment, this is just awareness. So my mom is in a really tough situation right now with her health. And just looking back, obviously there's multiple factors and layers, but just one that sticks out when it comes to money, it's she would drive to one supermarket in one side of town to purchase certain things, and then she would drive literally on the other side of town to get a couple of other things just because it's like 10 cents less per pound of this or that or whatever it is. All of those things non-organic. So looking at budget, like she was looking at always ways to save money, which is perfectly fine. That's great. However, when we're looking at our health, this is an area where we may not always want to look at saving, because all of that savings is a factor, very large factor right now in the health challenge that she's in, because she was looking at saving money on everything that she was consuming, or the majority of the things that she was putting in her body. So now I think we had I don't, maybe some of you heard this already, but she was taking some vitamin C IVs at a private clinic, and those were like $600 a pop. So how many trips from one supermarket to the other side of the supermarket to save 10 cents per pound on, beef, pork, or, chicken or whatever it is? How many times do you have to do that to have $600 now to have to go to do one vitamin C IV? And she did multiple for quite a long time. So thousands and thousands of dollars in investment now to get her health back to a more stable level. Okay, so I get it. And again, a lot of you that have been here for a while, Lau and I have been through the roller coaster. There's been times or seasons where finances were incredibly tight. So yes, we get it. We don't splurge and do this and do that. However, the things that were important, that were non-negotiable, such as our health, there was always a way. We always figured out and made it a priority to make this work. And guess what? It worked. Okay, so
it's about getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, thinking creatively, being proactive. Because if I tell you that in 10 years your mercury feelings are gonna collaborate in the development of Alzheimer's disease, let's say it like that, wouldn't you consider to take them out before they create that damage on your health?
What's that worth?
How much is that?
How expensive? Is it too expensive?
Or how much your family would have to invest in helping you with, let's say, with the treatment for Alzheimer's disease, like an example, like a really broad example. There's many factors, emotional factors, family situations, like we get it. But on the most basic level, what we're doing is sharing. We're not pushing, and we're not obligating anybody to do any of these things. It's just like you choose to take it or not. And if you cannot take it at the moment, you can focus and still focus on the missions that you get to do and that will help you in your health, like the simple things. Sometimes we like complicated things. The mind likes very complicated things, but we're telling you healing or the healing process also can be, or the simplicity of the things that you can do have a lot of power in the healing process. The lemon water in the morning with consistency. For example, the aloe, you get your plants, you start making water with aloe, the enemas, things like that, okay? So your perspective on and how you see things is gonna determine the success of your journey.
In another word, putting that, or in other words, if you are in that situation in this season where, hey, I don't have right now in my bank account the disposable funds to do that. Okay, great. Not a problem. No judgment, zero stress. However, the invitation is ask yourself and consistently come from the point of how can this work? How can I make this work? Why is this possible for me? As opposed to why this can't work. That alone is going to answer your financial situations. Okay, so moving on. What do we got here? We've got
one last thing. We have a lot of money missions. If you have problems with money, focus on that as well. There's like at least 6 or 7 missions regarding money, changing our relationship with money, generating income, being okay with receiving money. So take advantage of those, please.
Awesome. Crystal, Andrea, good to see you. Whoever else is out there. Wins, who's got to win? Andrea, you got to win. We'll get that in just a second. So Tammy says, I have a question about trauma. My relationship with my daughter is not good. She's very cruel to me and has cut me out of her life. It hurts so deeply. I don't want the loss of our relationship
to make me sick. How can I let go and heal? Last year was full of loss for me. I want this year to be a better year. Okay. So for you, Tammy, one mission. You have to invest in a family constellation session. That's what you have to do. I'm not pushing you, but if you ask me,
if you ask Lau, what would you do?
What I would do, family constellations. You know, we spoke about Michelle a lot of times. Some of you have gone with Michelle also in some sessions. You have to go and see this, okay? And do one session at least with her. It's worth the investment and is very affordable as well. And this is something you want to book today. Contact her today, and if you don't have the contact, send us an email. We'll send you the information today. Today, make an appointment, period, and start there. Start. What's the next step once you take that step? 2, a few months ago, I recommended a book. Read it. It's called It Didn't Start With You from Mark Wallen. Buy the book, read it. Okay? Kindle, Audible, paper, whatever. Go buy it, read it. Because it's very important for us to understand the family ties, the family loyalties, and the family tree and how this works in our day-to-day life. A few days ago in the Wellness Reset Facebook group, I posted, my last post pretty much was about family constellations. Go and read it. Okay? Go and read it. It's very clear and very, it will give you an introduction. The other thing I recommended a few months ago was, if you have Netflix, there's a series called My Other Self. Go and watch it as well. Also to understand this family constellation and the tree system, our family system, how is this working in our life? Okay, very important. So send us an email or again, whatever, book or call her today. Call Michelle today. Send her a message today.
Okay. Andrea says, win. I turned 60 yesterday. Andrea, happy belated. Woo. I still feel like I'm 30, not just in my mind, but in my body. Huge win for me. I got lots of reactions from people who were surprised that I'm that young.
That young. Congratulations.
Beautiful.
Yes. Happy birthday. Something we noticed. This might be a little bit of a long story. I'm gonna make it short. But we've heard recently different people that are not celebrating birthdays. Would you like to explain why? Or would you help me?
Yeah, so a very interesting concept. I was reading this. There's some people that are looking at this as on a subconscious level when people celebrate. And I'm not saying this is what you did, Andrea. I'm not saying this is what you did, but it's just a very interesting thing to look at. So let's say one day you're a certain age, and literally the next day is your birthday, and you celebrate that turning. Subconsciously, the mind is then sending message to the entire body that it aged 1 year in that day, in that short period of time. So all of a sudden, bam, woo, and it sets into motion subconsciously, energetically throughout the body, that now the body has to catch up to this 1 year older situation. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm not going to tell you how or what to do on your birthday, but it definitely, it's one of those things that just kind of makes you sit back and go, huh, that's interesting. So if it's something that you'd like to explore more, any of you, into that, by all means, do so. And then we also had a friend of ours who, you want to tell that one about the candle? This is fascinating.
This is fascinating.
This is really, oof, this is.
So the invitation for the birthdays that are coming. This is also why.
I'm going to turn on the fan 1 second.
Okay.
Ooh, sorry.
This is why we also haven't been posting about birthdays, because we're starting to think a little bit differently about it. Now that we're not grateful, or we want to bless you in your journey, but because we want to offer a different perspective. With relating to fire, normally what people does is that you have a cake, you put the fire, the candles, you light the fire, you give it to the person, and the person, what it does, they just blow, and ask for a wish. Normally, that's, at least here, that's how it happens. But again, what is the information we're giving to our subconscious mind? Is we're turning off,
blowing out
the fire. Blowing out. Thank you.
Putting out the fire.
Okay, blowing out is the information that we're blowing out. Apagar, ¿cómo se dice apagar? Sí.
Blowing out.
Okay, bueno. Blowing out the fire. And the fire, what it represents to us is life, is heat, is the spirit as well. So on a way, we are willing, and through these practices, we're choosing to diminish our light, to blow out the fire. And what we want to do is the opposite. We want to light the fire. We want to create a connection with the fire. We want to be with the fire. And so the invitation is that instead of blowing out the candles, you light the candles and you let them be. You let them
burn.
Let them burn. Okay? It's the opposite action.
So here's a real world example, at least according to what the ancestors tell us. So when the Spaniards came to the Americas, one of the first things that they did in conquering the region, the indigenous or the natives, is they prohibited having fires. Like all of these towns had a fire burning all day, every day. And then they would use it for different signals and messaging other towns, miles away, smoke signals, things like that. So, and it's also, they also really build big fires when they're getting ready to go to war or things of that nature, right? So what do? They put out all the fires because that represents the life it is life, mm-hmm. right? So That was one of the things subconsciously, directly, that in subduing an entire population and disconnecting them from the fire. So
See.
subconsciously, as we're blowing that out, it's like, oh, it's possible that that blowing out of the fire, that life, that,
See.
so
So
something to think about.
we haven't really go deep into the research of when this practice originated, like who decided when that we're gonna have a cake and blow the candles. We don't know where it comes from, but it would be interesting to know who made this. Like, what is the tradition? Where is it coming from? Maybe to understand a little better why was shared with the world. This is a worldwide thing. Everybody in every culture does the same thing, you know, and let's say the majority at least. So where is it coming from? Very important. And the invitation is that from now on, you light the candle instead of blowing. That's the invitation.
Crystal, my win. A while back, we wrote down some long-term goals. One of mine was to join Master Gardeners to learn how to garden better, better garden. I kept up with it and applied today. Classes start in February.
Muy bien.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember January, February, my mom was already getting all of her things together for the gardening season.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's a perfect time, huh? Beautiful. Andrea, I think, Andrea, you mentioned this in the past as well, so totally understand. I completely understand that concept. I look at it from an angle that I'm getting better, not older. Honestly, my chronological age means nothing to me. I don't identify with the age at all. I'm perennially young in my mind. I think people react to your perception of how
Yeah.
your
Sure.
perception of how old you are, not your actual age.
100%.
Society's concept of my age is much different than my own, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. No,
Yeah.
and we're not saying anybody is or isn't doing, but we're just sharing. Like it was a very interesting aha to look at that,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of things like this is consciously, like you don't look at it like this.
Majority doesn't.
Exactly. That number one, very different from the majority. How often we heard it when we went home. Well, not home. When we went to visit my parents, when we went back to Minnesota. Oh, aging sucks. We hear that all the time. Don't get old. It sucks.
Yeah.
You kidding me? I feel better now than I did as well 10 years ago.
See?
But again, we're just also shedding some light. A lot of these things we talk about the subconscious. And there are things that consciously we don't believe or agree with, but subconsciously there's a program that's running that does believe or does buy into that idea or concept because it goes deeper. So, again, just bringing awareness,
Just sharing.
just sharing.
I also want to share something that next month the recommended book of the month is the one that I'm currently listening. It's 4 books. I'm in the 4th. And it's gonna get a little woo-woo, but I don't care. At this point, really, you know me a little bit. And it's not that woo after you understand and you read it. But the book, it's about the story of Avalon. Maybe you know a little bit about the Knights of the Round Table and Avalon and all the stories around it. So this book is a transmission from Morgane, and the writer is just receiving the information and writing the story as it happened. In certain kingdoms, in that book, they were so focused on the present moment that they didn't measure time. This is where I want to go. And because they didn't measure time the way we do nowadays, they didn't age. Their lives were so long, so long in comparison to the other kingdoms where they were constantly being aware of the time. a few days ago I heard a short reel about the perception of time and the misconception that we have, and that truly the only thing that we are living all the time is the eternal now, that the past and the present don't exist as the mind think it exists. So truly time doesn't exist. So putting all these things together, it's really interesting that it's very likely that we age the way we age because our perception of time has changed since the beginning of time to now, where, we're constantly aware of these things. So, our minds recreate the reality, or the reality is just a reflection of what our minds believe. So all this conception of time and aging has to do with the programs also that are being in our family tree and in our subconscious mind for generations, of course. So just read the books. Hands down, my gosh, I love it. I love it.
What else we got? Who's got a question, concern, comment?
Let's see. I want to do something. Tammy, are you still there? Pásame el número de Michelle.
Michelle es por correo.
Okay, you remember her email?
No.
Mm.
I don't have it memorized.
Okay. Anyways, really interesting topic.
Tammy's still here.
Okay. So Tammy, you want Michelle's contact? Is that correct?
Yeah, she said it. She already said yes, I want to do that.
Okay. All right. So we'll send it to you, and after you send her the email, you're gonna make a post in the Facebook group. Like, I send the email to Michelle. Like, that's gonna be the way of keeping you accountable. Okay? As soon as we finish the call, we're sending you that. You write it down and you let us know. Okay, that
And then in that same thread, you can put a comment. I have my session at this and this time.
mhm.
And then you make another thread, or not another thread, but another comment in that same thread. Hey, I just finished my session. So that way everybody can see.
Yeah. See. And if anybody here also want to team up with Tammy and keep her accountable, you're welcome to do so.
And if you're gonna keep Tammy accountable and you'd also like Tammy to keep you accountable,
You can work as a team on something. So I don't know. It's a super easy thing to do, but if anybody would like to be Tammy's partner to keep her accountable, please do. And Tammy, very important that you make a post on Facebook, on the group. Not on public, but in the group. Okay? Cambio y fuera, tema aparte. Okay? So, if everybody's good so far, we can change a little bit the topic. Okay?
let's see what
Giving time people to answer. Okay.
okay, Tammy's in. Beautiful.
All right.
Crystal, that's interesting about time. What if we could change it? Wow, just wow. Well, we can. And actually in that, I remember watching that as well. The thing is that time is this, let's just call it this thing. Time is this thing, but the mind is this filter that then has this concept of what it is, but it's not the correct concept of what it really is. So there's this disconnect in there, and which happens with so many things, right?
And maybe going a deeper layer. I don't know if anybody here read Autobiography of a Yogi. Also another recommended book from the past. But I don't know if anybody, please let us know if you read Autobiography of a Yogi. Again, this is real story. This is not something somebody fantasy wrote about. But one of the teachers of Paramahansa Yogananda is Babaji, the famous Babaji. I don't know if it's famous for you, but the famous Babaji. He is eternal. He never dies, pretty much, and he has a body. Okay, he has a body. He's young, maybe around, looks like around 20-ish, but he's been alive for ages, and he's not gonna die because that's his mission. So I was telling Jared, like, perhaps it's because somebody, obviously this is an enlightened master, they understand what time truly is. So they don't live in time because they know it's just an eternal now. So anyways, time is not what we think it is, that's for sure.
Kelly, hey. Crystal, if you have Gaia, watch Rewired with Joe Dispenza. He describes how to live in the now, time, and space. It's fascinating.
Mm-hmm. A lot of resources.
Yeah.
A lot of resources.
And, sorry to interrupt, if you don't have Gaia and you don't want to get a subscription to Gaia, you can find those things on YouTube for free. It may take a little while because there's so many of them, but I guarantee you there's some amazing free resources out there that.
But also there are free trials.
Yeah.
And Crystal, you have to watch Root Cause documentary, and that's in Gaia. So please.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Have you checked recently?
Yeah.
Because I saw something that, at least on, I don't know what platform it was, it may have been Netflix. There was one, and again, this is a while ago, but one of those type of documentaries was like, of course, affecting the profits of certain industries. So they had a class action suit or some sort of lawsuit to get them to take it off the platform.
Okay. Do a little research before. But there's always free trials that you won't lose any money in case you don't want to get a subscription. But Root Cause and Rewired, now you have two things very important in the list to watch. Okay.
Yeah, Kelly, learned so much. Crazy, huh?
What a story, right? What a story.
All right, she's going to do it this weekend.
Okay.
Cool. So your homework, Crystal, is then to post in the group, say, hey, I just watched this episode number whatever, and holy smokes, this is
mind blowing.
This is my experience or my process or whatever you want to share.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you need accountability? Do you need a partner, Crystal? Because if you do, then maybe you and Tommy can collaborate. Okay? Okay. I'll do it. Yeah, but it still is important. It's important to pair up sometimes and work as a team. And for some reason, you and Tammy are here today, so maybe, I'm not saying you have to do it at all, but maybe you want to partner up for the moment, for these two missions you have. Okay. Bueno. A different topic that we would like to present, maybe it's a little soon, but we are considering...
Say it's too soon. Huge cliffhanger! Dang it, Jared, you did it again! See.
No, it's just.
No, it's good to speak first. Like we talked about yesterday, I think we kind of got the steps down. It's not to be one of those. I think we all have we all know one of those people that like constantly leave you hanging in like just the weirdest ways. That's not our intention. But also, as things are presented, it'll make sense. Like, oh, okay, I get it. So, yeah.
All right. And once again, more people watching, please take time to answer the survey. Very important if you haven't already. We truly appreciate. It's super simple.
Yeah. Actually, what we can share, which will then, based on this, what I'm about to share, will then allow us to share and understand better. But Lau and I had this brainstorming session. We have this idea. So next week we'll send out an email, and we're going to have some time slots throughout the week, maybe even the following week if necessary. But we're going to set aside at least a half hour. Maybe those half hours extend a little bit. But, we're going to kind of do 50-50. Half of that time, we're just going to ask a handful of questions similar to the survey, but like just going into a little bit deeper so we can better understand, so we can better serve. And then the other part of the call, like you've got our ears for anything and everything, like a private one-on-one, so to speak. So if that's of interest, if you want to get on a call and chat and share and get some insight, or maybe talk about a challenge, or just trying to, maybe you're at a point where like, okay, I'm super excited, the new year, I've got these ideas, but I need some clarity on a couple of things that'll just allow me to just keep simple steps to then ensure I reach that goal, or whatever that is. We're more than happy to do that. So next week we'll send out a calendar. You can just click on the time and date, and we'll have some one-on-ones or two-on-ones.
We'll see.
If that's of interest, and if
Yes,
it's not, it's fine too.
of course. All right. So I'll ask you in another moment what we have in our plans. First this call that we're gonna do. A reminder of getting your resources ready for Monday mission. That's gonna be the construction of the dream board. I'm gonna make a maybe a little bit more detailed video with some questions that are gonna be like a foundation on how to build a dream board differently.
Dream board, some people call it vision board.
The vision board, yeah. So it's a good idea to have them physical, not only on digital, on the screen. So you have the next couple of days to get your recortes, your papers with your images, and
or if you are more digital, oh, excuse me, sorry. Also, ¿qué pasó?
No more digital. Physical.
Let me finish. You jump into conclusions here.
Cuidado.
I love digital. I made my vision board digitally, and then I send it to a printer and they print it, so I've got the physical. So if you don't have stacks of magazines that have amazing eye candy and very inspiring type of, you don't have to worry. You can just pull those images, throw it on a document on your computer, and then bam, you just print it. So printed.
But we're gonna do it in a specific way, or I'm gonna offer you other ways of doing a dream board, not like, like everywhere.
Like how?
Like everywhere. It's not gonna be like that.
This is the wrong way.
That's the wrong way. All over the place. No, like really, I'm just gonna offer you a different way of seeing things with other questions. Maybe it's handy, maybe you would like to do it this way next year. Fine. But this is just another option on how can you create a dream board.
So I'm just in these, what I mentioned is just to ensure that there's no excuses out there
Yeah.
in the sisterhood.
Oh, I don't have magazines.
Oh, I don't have. Okay, so perfect. So you can still take the direction and the ideas of how Lao is organizing and bringing these emotions and these desires to the surface. But if you don't have magazines, well, you can still do that. Have it digital, and then you print it, and then you have it on your fridge. You have it on your mirror in your bathroom. You have it on your dresser or your closet, like all over the place.
Mm-hmm. All over the place.
All over the place.
Okay, so that just get ready. As I mentioned, I think in this Monday's video, get some Pinterest images and again print them. You know.
See, Lao?
Yes, I also spoke about that. I spoke about that on Monday's video. Mm-hmm. Go to Monday's video and listen.
Crystal, that was helpful because I don't have magazines. Yeah.
Pinterest and printing
Yeah.
definitely works.
Andrea says, I can't wait to do the dream board. I've been thinking about doing a new one for a couple of months now. So perfect timing. And Andrea loves the idea. I'm assuming, Andrea, the idea of hopping on a call.
All right. Or the idea of doing a dream board.
I think both. She already just said, I can't wait to do a dream board.
Anyways, last question maybe to wrap it up because we're about to.
Wow, an hour already?
It's gonna be an hour.
But we didn't answer anybody's questions. Other than
Okay, so
Tammy's.
questions?
Questions? Tammy's question. That was a good question, by the way, Tammy.
If you don't have questions, we're gonna ask questions to all of you then. Okay. Awesome. Giving some time to see if somebody has questions. All right. No questions? All right.
Oh.
Ah.
No, it's not a question. This just comes in. I know there's a few of us. We haven't really marketed or really pushed out any information about the detox retreat. There's only two spots left.
Go ahead.
2 spots left. Well, there's 2 bungalows. So those 2 bungalows could be, single occupancy, it could be double occupancy. But we'd probably only accept, let's say if somebody wanted to come down with their significant other, we'd probably maybe allow one of those to be a double occupancy and then the other single occupancy. Because we want to keep these groups small, intimate, and so 2 spots left. It's May 31st to June 7th. The deep detox, juicing, blasting, cleaning out all this biofilm and bioplaque in the gut, getting that out, flushing that out. And I looked at the list. We just had, earlier this week, 2 people that have already done the retreat booked 2 more, their spaces again. But I think there's 7, maybe 8 people that are repeat attendees. So that's why we haven't been pushing and marketing and sending emails and posting and all these things, because all these repeaters are coming back. Now, Lau and I think we don't have big egos, but if we look at the the just what's taking place. It's so much more than Lau and I, but everything that takes place in that space is causing people to come back again. And not only that, 2 people, Sheridan and Elizabeth, now are coming back for their 4th time. How many have we done? Have we done 5?
And
We've done
she's
6,
gonna
I
bring
think,
her
right?
daughter again for the second time.
Yeah,
and-
daughter's coming the second
And
time.
mom's coming for the
Lau's
second
mom's coming
time.
for the second time. So, again, it's if you look at that, there's absolutely no way that if somebody doesn't receive value and have like a really positive impact in their health and in their life after investing thousands of dollars, there's no chance in hell that they're going to do it again. But here we've got people coming back for the 4th time. And again, like I said, it's not because of Lau and I were this, no, it's everything, the group, the protocol, the cleansing, the relationships, the connections that are made, like everything put together is what causes that. But there's 2 spaces. So if there's payment plans, so if you're like, oh man, reach out to us. I think even on the page right now, coachlau.com/detox, there's a payment plan. So you can spread out payments every month from now till May. And if that doesn't work, reach out to us. Say, hey, can we do this? Okay, great, let's do that. Like
It's about being proactive. I don't know how many times maybe I don't have the resources, but I really want to do or attend or pay for something that I can at the moment. And it's about asking uncomfortable questions. It's about putting yourself in the spot, or it's about being vulnerable. It's about being proactive and say, hey, I don't have the money right now, but what if we do this? What if we do that? What if can we offer this? Or do you offer a payment plan? Or can I work? But one thing is being proactive, and other thing is just like staying small and silent and just, I can't do that. I can't. That's the easy way out. But if you truly understand how valuable this is, tipping point for your health, then you find a way. Maybe the person's gonna say, no, you know what, it doesn't work, or no, not at this moment, maybe the next time. But at least you got out of your comfort zone, ask these questions, and just say, this is my situation right now. Can we work something out?
And again, continuing to ask yourself the question, how can I make this work? Why is this easy for me to figure this out? Why can this happen? Why is this? But
sometimes we're afraid of receiving a yes. Sometimes we're afraid of people telling us, okay, let's do this, come. People getting out of the comfort zone and receiving what you want or what you need is scary for a lot of people. So just self-evaluation, where you are, and if you don't want people to tell you yes, what would that prove to you then?
That your belief that you're not good enough is not valid.
Mm-hmm. Or
real.
Or any other belief. The possibilities, they exist, they are, you can make it happen. You can make it happen. All right?
There we go.
The other thing, what was it? I forgot. Yes. Just to wrap it up. A valid question for all of you as well here. I posted this in the Wellness Reset. But it's a good way of self-evaluation. Like, if 2024 had the name of a book, what would it be? How would you call that chapter of your life, 2024? So the invitation is to think about it and write it down. Write it down when you have that idea. But it's good. It's a good exercise. Okay, a compilation of the things that happened during 2024, and you can put the name that you want. It can be a tragedy book or it can be a happy book. Whatever you want, in whatever perspective you choose to see it. So that's the invitation for today. So all of you watching, you can write that down under this thread.
All right, just like that, an hour flies by.
Message?
Message? Anybody want a message? Oh, you pick this time. I welcome healthy, loving relationships. There you go. Screenshot it. Put it on your fridge. Put it on your vision board.
I welcome healthy, loving relationships.
Awesome.
This is backwards.
All right. So just like that, an hour flies by. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching the replay. So good to be back. So good to see you again. And get ready because, this year can be absolutely amazing, or it could be just a repeat of last year and the year before and the year before and the year before.
Yeah.
So let's...
And looking forward to see your post, Tammy and Crystal. And looking forward to read the name of your book, of the chapter of 2024 for all of you.
Awesome. Here if you need anything. Have a great weekend.
Ciao.
Lots of love.